Hello everyone and welcome back to another interview video. Today I shall be interviewing Joe Ripple. Joe is the founder of Scares That Care. It is a charity organization that I truly do believe in. It is a group that helps raise money to help families in need as well as pay for hospital bills as well as extra things here and there that you'll hear about in this video. It is a charity that I truly believe in with all of my heart, and at the end of this video, if we win you over, please take a look at their website and consider donating. Have a nice day. Hey Joe, how's it going?
Jack, how are you? Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for being here.
My
So
pleasure.
we're just gonna, go through the years of Scares That Care. So
Mhm.
you yourself are a retired police detective, is that right?
That's correct.
So how does one go from just enjoying retirement on the quote unquote beaches to just waking up one day starting a charity organization, or was it like a gradual thing?
Well, that's a very good question, Jack, and a lot of people get it a little bit misconstrued. I actually started the charity way back in 1996.
Oh.
So the charity's been going on for quite some time. People get confused because we've only started recently doing conventions. About 7 years ago is when we started that. So the backstory to this is that, as you mentioned, I was a police officer. At the time I was on the job, my partner had a 3-year-old daughter who
Mhm.
contracted an inoperable brain tumor. She passed when she was 4 years old. So I had the unlucky privilege of being one of her pallbearers at her funeral. Um, at the same time all of that was going on with her illness, I was also head of the Horror Find Weekend security detail. Um, Mike was very adamant about having police officers on the job. Um, so, as a result of what my partner was going through with his daughter and seeing the kindness and the generosity that horror fans truly had, I started doing some research, found that they did not have their own banner with which to donate back to people in need.
Mhm.
I put two and two together, and Scares the Care was born.
Gotcha. And so how did the very first charity weekend come about then?
So we had a meeting with our board of directors. When I started our Facebook group, Facebook page for the charity organization, we had 12 followers,
Mhm.
12 fans, because it was fan pages back then. And we slowly started seeing those numbers increase. We had the personnel that some people were associated with Horror Find, who knew how to put on a convention. And we just decided that it was the right time. So we picked an area that did not have a convention at present because we didn't want to compete with anybody,
Of course.
step on anybody's toes. Um, and we just decided that, hey, let's try this. Let's see what we can do as far as a charity, and bringing in the people, the celebrities, the guests, things like that. And first convention was very hairy. I'm not going to lie to you.
Mhm.
Most conventions first year don't make any money. We were very fortunate to have made money because we waited until we had that built-in fan base. And we actually planned our convention 2 years out.
Oh,
So there was plenty of time
so
for
people clear
people
their
to
schedules and whatnot.
exactly clear their schedules, know what was happening, know what was coming up. But again, still very, very dicey because word of mouth really hadn't been talked about as far as a convention is concerned. People put a convention on nowadays. They put they put it up on Facebook. 3,000 people like it. They think 3,000 people is going to show up.
Of
It's not the
course.
case. So, but we were fortunate. We were able to move on from there.
What was the, because I joined kind of like midway to where we are now.
Mhm.
What was the turnout like? Like what numbers do you think you could say?
It was very slim,
Very slim.
very slim. I don't recall the exact numbers now, but yeah, I was sweating it. I remember on Saturday that, because we all agreed that if the convention failed, that the charity was going to fail. And while that may be a stretch of the imagination there, it
Mhm.
was still something that we were looking at. So yeah, I remember on Saturday going up into the room, into my room at about 3 o'clock and throwing up, just because there was a lot of stress, and still human.
Mhm.
Don't want to fail, But again, the team really pulled together, and we were able to at least present a single check out of that. So, and we've grown from there. So,
Right. And now you've moved on from just one event a year to trying to get more events throughout the year. So
mhm.
there's of course the always the charity weekend.
Yes.
There's a spooky Christmas dance this year, I believe, correct?
Yeah. And what we have found is we have found that a lot of people don't have a family,
Hmm.
or they have a family, but they don't get along with them. So what we decided to do was we decided, okay, as a charity, what can we do to give back to Williamsburg? So there is a shelter for domestic violence victims, women and children, called the Avalon Center. And we did this a couple of years ago, and we had to kind of stop because of COVID and things like that. But we feel comfortable enough going back this year now with vaccines being out. Um, so what we do is we have a dinner and dance. The hotel partners with us.
Hmm.
If you rent a room, you get the room, you get the dinner, and then you get breakfast the next morning. You can just come for the dinner if you want, and that's fine. But we ask people to bring in stuff for women and children. So all of the items that will be brought in for the dinner and dance as donations will go to the Avalon Center. Because kids are still going to be kids. They still
Right.
expect Santa to show up. And, we'll have our silent auction stuff there. We'll have, raffles, giveaways, things like that. So just we'll make a little money off of it, but it's more important to give back to Williamsburg.
And so COVID, as you had mentioned, kind of threw a wrench into some things for a bit.
Yeah.
You're trying to actually set up another charity weekend in Wisconsin. What made you choose that location?
They don't have a horror convention.
So it's sort of like the same thing when you chose Williamsburg. You didn't want to step on any toes. Maybe if you put it out
Correct.
further, you might get some new people coming in.
Correct. And we have some representatives of the charity live out that way. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to go next year, but we're still looking at the year after that. So.
Mhm. So, with all that in mind, about how much money would you say the charity as a whole has raised for people who need help?
Well, here's important, Jack, and I want your listeners or your viewers to understand this. We're all volunteer, so we have our 501c3. We've been designated from the IRS as an actual charity,
Hmm.
but we still have net costs. People want hoodies, they want mugs, we have to pay for the flights for the celebrities, the hotel bill, the whole 9 yards. So we have to pay for that. So when we say we're all volunteer and we don't take any money for ourselves, people think that all the money that comes in goes to the families. And I just want to make sure that we're completely transparent with that.
Of course.
And I think people respect that. At the end of the day, though, we have raised and donated over $300,000 to families in need. And that's all done on a volunteer basis. And that does not include, things of helping out families for Christmas, food, toys, electronic equipment, things like that. So we've done a really, really good job. I'm very, very proud of the people.
So, over the years throughout the conventions, there's been a number of celebrity guests, authors, and things like that. Who are some of the guests that have stuck out, even become friends with over the years?
Well, most recently, Pruitt Taylor Vince,
Hmm.
incredible character actor. Most people are recognizing him as the killer in Identity with John Cusack. He was also in Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Hmm.
He was the blind priest. He's very, very, very huge heart on that gentleman. Sid Haig, obviously. Sid was at every show. And interestingly enough, when we were doing our very first convention, Sid always made sure that I don't tell this to anybody, but I think it's prudent that we do now in honor of his memory. When we were doing our very first convention, he said, "Joe, I'd like to come out to your show." And I said, "Sid, I don't think I can afford it." I said, I would love to have you, but I just don't think that the budget is going to be conducive to that, because you got to fly first class, hotel room, whole 9 yards. He says, "Can you get me a room and a table?" I said, "Well, I could if I was bringing you out, but he says, "I'll fly myself. Don't worry about it. I believe in your cause. I believe in what you're doing. I'll fly myself." How can you say no to that? How can you say no not only to taking care of your own expenses, but the heart behind it?
Of course, he genuinely was. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were the last convention that he did before he passed. So, um, other people, you know, I was fortunate because a lot of the agents and a lot of the talent I knew from working Horror Find.
Hmm.
So there were some people that were nice, super nice and Horror Find. There were a few that were not so nice. You won't ever see them at Scares That Care. Not that it matters to them, and not trying to point fingers, but you know, our event is a little bit different.
Hmm.
You know, we want people to be happy and encourage people to come out and things like that. Um, but all in all, I would say it's a very fine experience. Doug Bradley, Kane Hodder, always super supportive, always wonderful people. You know, and there's been, you know, quite a few of the actors that'll buy our shirts and then promote us on their TikTok or
Right. Yeah.
their Instagram. The authors like Jonathan Jans and, you know, Brian Keene does a fabulous job bringing all the authors in and things like that. One thing that I really want to do is I want people to know that this is a safe space.
Of course. Yes.
You know, so people of color, people who identify, you know, opposite of the standard, you know, male female demographic, we want them to know that they're welcome too. And so we really try to work hard to make sure everybody's respected. So.
Over the years, what would you say are some fond memories you have at the events? Because I do know you most of the time at the events, you're running around like a crazy person, making sure everything is all right. But
Me?
but you do have some moments where you're able to have fun with your fellow friends and family and all that.
Yeah. I think that for me, it's giving the checks at the show because the
Mhm.
first couple of years we were not able to do that. But bringing the families out, because with our organization, as you know, we put a face to a name.
Mhm.
So if we say we're collecting for person John Smith, you get to be introduced to John Smith and you find out about John Smith's story. You know where your money's going. Okay. So being able to bring the families out and give the families their checks in front of the crowd that is basically our donor pool, I think it's very, very important to that. So those are all memories that I'm extremely fond of and I'm extremely grateful for.
Mhm.
Doing the bra walk is a lot of fun. People say that's got to be uncomfortable for you. I'm 55. I've got nothing left to prove. I have nothing to prove to anybody anymore.
So for those who might be unaware of what the bra walk would be, would you mind giving a lovely visual?
Of course. Imagine, if you will, a 55-year-old man being dressed in drag. It started out as we were raffling off year one of our convention. We were raffling off a big red bra that all the celebrities had signed. And I was going to sell raffle tickets in the bar, and I was worried about, you know, making money for the lady because all that money was going to go to our breast cancer gift recipient. So I put the bra on over my shirt and walked into the bar, and I couldn't even get a raffle ticket out, and people were already shoving money into the bra, ones, fives, tens. So I went with it. Sometimes the best things you find out are happy accidents, right?
Of course.
That's a happy accident. So people started shoving money in the bra, and the bra walk was born. So each year it's gotten a little bit more to now it's just basically Joe's in full drag. 2 years ago, when I did the bra walk, I got up to take a shower the next morning, and I was like, why is my chest stinging so bad? And I looked, I had all these paper cuts and fingernail scratches and everything else, because drunk people are not gentle.
True. They just go right in there.
They go right in there. So now I have somebody that actually walks behind. I need somebody to walk behind me because as I'm doing the bra walk, the bra gets filled up so fast that we have to actually take money out and put it in the bag. So as I continue to walk, but it's a lot of fun. And look, if the lady we're helping can go through what she's going through for 45 minutes, I can be embarrassed. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with me, give some light onto Scares That Care in general. And if people wanted to find out more information about Scares That Care or a place to donate, where would you suggest they go?
Can I get one plug in before I do that? Next year, you mentioned we're having a couple of events. So next year, we will be doing an all-author horror convention in Williamsburg. That's April 1st through the 3rd. And then our 3-day weekend where we bring in the celebrity guests from film and television. That's July 29th through 30th. 29th through 31st, excuse me. So if you're into horror books, horror novels, things like that, come on out, join us April 1st through the 3rd. So first year we're trying 2 events. So thanks for letting me plug that. I appreciate it.
Of course.
If people want to find out more information, they can go to scaresthatcare.org. And you can always find us on Facebook. We're on TikTok now.
You've become kind of a celebrity on TikTok recently.
Yeah, I don't let it go to my head. I just, you just try to be kind and helpful and appreciative in this world, and people kind of gravitate to that. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, scaresthatcare.org, and you can actually also donate right through the site.
Well, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and giving some light on scares, and hopefully this reaches more people.
Jack, I appreciate the opportunity. You know how I feel about you already. So I do appreciate you, and I do love you, and I wish you nothing but success. And thank you for the time.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.